Finally, the moment a couple of you have been waiting for.
It's all like bing bong, Jack.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Duval and St. Johns County. The show for Jag fans by Jag fans.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
Here are your hosts, Franklin and Michael how you say it? DeZoba. Welcome to the Jaggernaut Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Jaggernaut Podcast. As always, I'm joined by my brother Mike. I said Mike. My brother Frank. See how retarded that sounds?
Even you confuse us.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, we're sort of...
I know some people confused and think we look alike, but dang, man, I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, you know, we got some negative, some negative stuff in my mind. Who knows? Who knows what I'm going to throw out there? That's why you guys all listen.
I'm sure that's it. Yeah.
That's exactly what. It's why they keep coming back, man.
Yeah.
They just can't get enough.
Yep.
All right. Well, so the season is over. It officially wrapped up last night with the completion of the Super Bowl. Old Chiefs did it again. Yeah. Or should I say the NFL did it again? So here's my issue, Frank. All playoffs, they let them play. Right? Did you hear that? We're going to let them play. We're going to let them play. Till they don't. And then they throw a flag at a crucial junction. Now, I'm not saying Philly would have won.
Right.
All I'm saying is the NFL helped Kansas City win. They gave them a new set of downs, which then allowed Kansas City to run out the clock.
Right. And
therefore, after the field goal, Philly got the ball back with 6 seconds. They would have gotten the ball back with 1:30 and 2 timeouts had that flag not been thrown.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. It was horrible time call. I didn't even agree with the call itself. I thought it would be ticky-tack in the normal season.
Yeah.
Like the guy didn't get mugged.
Yeah.
He didn't even get yanked. Like you didn't see
you
any
saw his
shirt
jersey
grabbing.
get pulled a bit.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I think the issue for me was the ball was entirely overthrown. There is this concept of the ball has to be in play in order for you have to affect the play. I know I'm trying to come up with an adjective to explain the Chiefs fans. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly, that I just actually got done listening to the beginning of the Jason Whitlock show, and he's a Chiefs fan, and he's talking about how bad that play call was. I know when I watch the Jags, I go, look, we got one there. I feel like I try to call it unbiasedly, and if any Chiefs fans trying to say, and they are, it's really pathetic. They're like, oh, well, it's holding all the time and all this whataboutism. You're removing that completely out of context from everything we saw. That play, to your point, was not a play where a flag should have been called in the regular season because it was an uncatchable ball. Yes, it was a timing route, but it wasn't a 12-yard hold. Like, that ball was way over Juju's head. He wasn't never going to catch that ball. If that guy had never touched Juju, he was not catching that ball. That's just the way it looked. So the idea that the ref threw the flag at that crucial moment in time, it's unbelievable. And the problem I have with it is I feel like the carpet has been rolled out for the Chiefs for the whole playoffs. I mean, with the Damar Hamlin situation, they were in the catbird seat by that decision that the NFL made. Once they decided to basically not play that game, they handed the Chiefs the benefit no matter what decision, no matter how it worked out, unless they lost at home. That was, which, then they should have lost. I mean, But the point was is the Bengals got completely screwed in that situation because the best case scenario they could hope for was they got nothing in the deal, actually. The Bills' best case scenario was they got a neutral site game, but the Chiefs get home field advantage throughout. It's like, how does that even work, you know? So, and it's like an odd situation. Fine, they had to make an odd decision. You deal with that. Then they get an additional down where, and Chiefs fans are making excuses for it. There was no penalty. It was a technical clock violation by the clock people. You could have added clock on to the next play. You didn't have to stop the play. You could have just added clock. There was no issue. And they go, well, the ref stopped the play. No, he didn't. He waved his arms. He didn't blow a whistle. The play happened. And so they gave them an additional down. They scored on that drive. So all of that encompasses, it just leaves a really bad taste in your mouth. As an NFL fan, you're like, the NFL's got to figure this out. You cannot run the game like that. Like, to your point, they've been calling the playoffs a certain way, and it's weird. The Jags were the recipients of this amazing ability for the refs to swallow their whistles on 2 of the 4 interceptions in the Chargers game. You know, complete mugging of our receiver, and which turned into interceptions. They didn't think that was...
That turned into points, and they didn't care.
They didn't think that was big enough to call. So
right.
What changes? I don't know. And you can say, well, the ref crews change, but we all know. And what I'm a little worried about is we're going to see the same thing that we saw when the Patriots mugged the Colts, and I forget what year that was. And then they had to have this whole rules emphasis thing. Well, just call the plays right, man. You don't have to have rules emphasis. Get people who know what the hell they're doing.
That's right. What we need full-time refs. We need full-time refs who get fined or lose their jobs for shit play calling.
Yeah,
like
Super
shit
Bowl.
calls.
My gosh, man!
Come on, how
the Super Bowl you're gonna pull that?
Yeah, that's what the NFL's got to do something about the referees. They're awful. I know they have a hard job. That's what you keep hearing. It's a hard job. Yes, it is hard. Yes.
The NFL doesn't make it easy on them either.
There is holding on every play. Cool. Okay, I understand that. But what you don't want them doing is exactly what they're doing. They're waiting to strategic moments to go ahead and assert some kind of authority from somewhere. Is it Vegas? I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks like the NFL is corrupt. It looks like the NFL writes a story in the offseason. They name their princess, and that princess, come hell or high water, gets to the dance and is then crowned queen of the court. And Vegas knows. You know, it's like, hey, this is who we want to win this year. That's the princess.
I can compare them to the government, and I can talk about this and how, you know, dishonesty and corruption hides behind the veil of incompetency, and we could talk about that for a while, but I like the point that you made about they've chosen a prince or princess. I don't remember which one you used.
I went princess.
Okay. So is KC the new dynasty? Is Mahomes the next Brady?
The NFL is certainly painting that picture.
Yeah, I feel like that fifth down is like the new tuck rule. It's like, it's going to launch the career of, you know, we're going to deal with this where, you know, the Michael Jordan rules of the NFL where, you know.
Yeah, I mean, our best bet isn't even on the football field. It's Patrick Mahomes' brother and wife start to do something on social media that pisses the NFL off. It's like bad for the shield.
Yeah.
and then they sour on Patrick
Yep.
Mahomes because of it.
I thought
That's
about that today too. Yep.
That's like our best deal. How
Yeah.
sad is that?
Yeah.
When that's like what you're rooting for. It's almost like you want to go out to where this guy hangs out and just egg him on.
Yeah, they need to figure it out, I think, because it does sully everything. Because, to get back to the game, the truth of the matter is that it was, I don't know who would have won, but it's incredibly likely, maybe, at least possible, that the Chiefs were going to win anyway. This just
if you remember,
wasn't necessary.
After that call, the running back was given basically free reign to run and score, and he sat down short, which was great. That's what he should have did, just to run more clock. Okay, that I don't have a problem with. He could have went in and scored. Philly would have got the ball back with like a minute 16, minute 12 left, and then at that point they would have went forward. However it ended, whoever did what. But that didn't happen. And the NFL didn't let that happen, or Vegas didn't let that happen. And that's what bothers me. Because they take it out of the player's hands.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I was a little bit surprised by was going into that game, Philadelphia's defense was a really great defense in my mind. And I know that this is an offensive league. They cater to the offense, and I know the Chiefs are the best offense, okay? I'm just so used to, at some point, playoffs and Super Bowl type. In fact, I think that I heard this today, a team like the Eagles, whose defense has had like 70 sacks, has never lost a Super Bowl. This is the first time that it's ever happened. Now, I know that times change and they keep pushing the rules towards the offense, so it's an inevitability. But, I mean, if you look at that game, there were some interesting things like, and I'm off conspiracy or anything like that or bad refs. This is just X's and O's, I think. Andy Reid's some kind of a genius, maybe. I'm not real sure. Or the Eagles defense crapped themselves. I'm not sure, or a little of both. They had zero sacks.
I've had
zero
to hear
turnovers
this all year. It is not the Eagles players. It is the Eagles coaches. The Eagles coaches apparently can be really good, or they can be horrible.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm cheering if the Colts get one of them. I don't care which one you get, they're going to shot themselves.
I've heard they're getting the offensive coordinator. That's what I've heard.
Woo! Yeah, go on. Because that guy's game plan in the Chicago game was to use Jalen Hurts as a running back. You know what happened in the Chicago game?
He got hurt.
What the hell? What the hell? And that's just one instance.
Yeah.
Right? The Cowboys game. The Cowboys second game against the Cowboys with Gardner Minshew. I don't know what the hell play call they were doing. It's bad. It's bad when somebody like me can sit there and say, what the hell is that?
Right.
And then you also, the defense does it. The defensive play calls. There was no changes.
Yeah.
You know why KC scored those two? Because KC saw something in the first half, and they had plays to attack what they saw, and Philly did nothing. It's horrible play calling. So go ahead, coach. Go ahead, Jim Irsay. Woo! You're in our division. Bring that guy into your home. Let's go.
Yeah, I thought it was very un-Philly-like in regards to what I've seen this year for them from their defense. The Chiefs just, those two plays where all they had to do was fake a
A
I don't know.
shift.
What's
A
that?
shift.
Yeah, fake a shift and just run
Yeah.
back out. Like, what happens there? How do you have nobody? And then they run it again, and both of them.
Yeah,
I think both of them were touchdowns. It's
Yes, on the other side of the field. And
what?
Why?
And there was that
open.
one Mahomes run where, like, I'm watching it and I don't know what's going on. It's almost like it looked like some of the Philly players maybe thought a whistle was blown, almost like they didn't. And this may be some player issue to me, though. I didn't see a lot of hustle from them. There was times where I was, that was one of them where what are they doing? Like, why is nobody getting to Mahomes here? He's just running, and it wasn't that he was like, sometimes it's about the angles and but it was like nobody was getting anywhere. It was like there was this bubble around Mahomes, and that just stayed there for the longest time, and I thought that was really weird. I don't know. The first half of the game, that was the Eagles I expected to see. It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds next year. They do have to change something with Jalen Hurts. Now that he's shown what he can do, they really need to shift this. Whoever the offensive coordinator is, if in fact this offensive coordinator goes to the Colts, whoever this new guy is needs to come in. And first of all, that's going to be an issue they need to deal with right off the bat. You've got an offensive coordinator change coming for a team that is going to be dealing with a Super Bowl loss hangover. So that's going to be something they'll have to deal with. I hope Hurts looks like a good quarterback. They have to start treating him more like a quarterback and less like how the Ravens treat Lamar Jackson. That very reminiscent of Lamar Jackson. And when it comes to contract time, I wouldn't be shocked if you see a bit of a hesitation on the part of the Eagles, just like you're seeing on the part of the Ravens, when it comes to signing a running back, quarterback, because you're basically, it's very difficult to. It's successful, it works, but you're worried about that investment.
I think they run him too much. If your game plan is to run the quarterback, you need to be fired. But I do see ad lib. There are a lot of passing plays that are ad lib, where he'll get an opening and he'll run. I think that's fine. In fact, not only do I think it's fine, I think Trevor should do more running.
Exactly. We've been calling for more of that.
Yes, I want to see him. I want to see him do some of that stuff. That's what I want to see him do. I don't care if it's one or two per game, but go get the goddamn first down. Just go get it.
Yeah. I think that's a good point about the play calling too, because if you have a quarterback that is so dynamic at running like he is, I almost don't know that you ever call a run. I mean, sometimes you would, sneaks and things like that, just because
it would be
drop
rare.
back, and I would have plays designed to where it's almost like hit your back foot. Run. If that guy's not, go.
Yep.
And so you have all these pass plays designed, but you can tell they're just design runs. I mean, he was never looking to pass, and that seems a little strange to me, to your point in regards to play calling. So one of the things that I think we should talk about is the fact that we matched up against both of these teams in the regular season, both teams that went to the Super Bowl, and I would say we matched up rather well.
We did, but in the Kansas City game, both games, you could say, it looked like big brother versus little brother, and we ended up being the little brother. So you can't say we've arrived. And in the Philly game, it was close, and it had those 5 turnovers, but it's still they still seem to be on another level, and we're the next level. So that's what I will say, and that's positive, because guess what? We're not in the basement anymore.
Yep.
So yes, the AFC South championship should belong in Jacksonville for hopefully the next 10 years.
Yeah. So
That is reasonable.
yeah, that's where I'm heading. Like, I'm not saying we're on their level of the Chiefs. I'm right below them. We're in that other level of teams that want to be like those guys. Um, and the Chiefs are the ones that we have to contend with. They're
Yep.
the ones that are in our conference. So
Yeah, so this is what we got. We got the Chiefs, right? You got the Bills.
yeah,
You got the Bengals.
Bengals.
Jacksonville.
Yeah,
That's the AFC. That's
yeah.
what it's looking like.
Well, if you think about it, that's the division winners. And there's no reason why we are not going to be the team to beat in our division coming this year. I can't imagine. I don't imagine very few people, apart from Maurice Jones-Drew, will choose the Jags to lose or not, or not choose the Jags to be. Now, some might go back to the Titans or what have you. I'm not sure. I just think in this era where quarterback play is so pertinent, and Trevor showed the goods that everybody thought that he had. I just think at this point, when you look at the landscape of the division, unless something drastic changes, I don't want Aaron Rodgers in our division. Let me throw that out there. So unless something like that happens, I mean, I guess we could see Carr come to our division. I could see
Carr
that
doesn't scare
possibly
me.
happen. He doesn't scare me either.
Again, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I have ever seen play. That dude, his release, just his. I mean, it's hard to quantify how he is now. Is he the same? I don't know. He didn't look very good this year. Didn't look great last year. Just like it happens to everybody, at some point the wheels start to fall off.
Yeah.
At some point, no matter how good Derrick Henry is, the wheels are going to fall off.
Yeah.
Tannehill doesn't scare me. They don't have receivers. They're about to have to go through a rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
They're
lot of
going to need a
dysfunction in
quarterback. They don't
Titantown.
have one. Yep.
Been
Same
dysfunction in the
thing with
Colts.
the Texans.
Yeah. Everybody's just who'd have thought that had happened? We're the stable franchise.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
but that's what
exactly where we
that's
are.
what a good coach and a quarterback
Yep.
can do. They can stabilize the franchise. And I believe that's what's happening.
Yeah.
That's what we see. That's what we're going to get.
So I think we've established that we're a notch somewhere, whatever that looks like, below the Super Bowl teams that we witnessed. And the question is what do we need to do to get there, or how much of a leap? One of the things that is interesting to think about is how far we came in just one off season, let's say. And we went from so Trevor Lawrence's passer rating in 21 was 71.9, and this year it was 95.2. So that's a huge jump. And unlike Jalen Hurts that we just mentioned, who's likely going to be dealing with a brand new OC and scheme, Trevor won't be, because our OC is our head coach. And even if I forget our offensive coordinator for some reason, I'm blanking on him. Even if he leaves, we're still going to have that stability, and we're going to have Trevor having another year under that same system, just absorbing that system.
Yeah. So
who knows what that's going to look
So
like?
Ingram-
And what were you going to say?
Ingram, like I think we can. I don't want them to lose Jawan Taylor, but I think we can, and we can still be a good offensive line.
Yeah.
I think Ingram, we bring him back.
Yeah.
We should
definitely.
get Calvin Ridley Wednesday. Wednesday's the first day Calvin Ridley can actually ask the NFL to be reinstated as a player. So we get Calvin Ridley. We'll probably lose Marvin Jones Jr.
Probably.
That's going to suck. So, so for the most part, our offense remains the same. I don't think our offense. I think our offense grew a lot. I think the problem area is going to be our defense. We don't have the ability to stop the quarterback. If I had to say what is our biggest glaring need, I would say two things. Keep our players, as many as possible, and find a way, system generated or player generated, to affect the quarterback. Now,
Yeah.
if that means in the first round drafting a cornerback, fine. If that means going and getting another defensive end, fine. But whatever they do, they have to figure out how to affect the quarterback this coming season.
Yeah, it's looking at it. What's interesting about our defense, and I think when we did the beginning ramp up to the season, one of the things that I thought was going to happen was our defense was going to struggle early on and then come into its own. I think in a way that actually did happen. If you think about it, they were very opportunistic. It wasn't just Trevor, but that whole Trevor locking in coincided with just players making plays on defense and both sides working together, which always gave us a chance in every game. And all of a sudden, you keep adding up these wins, and we get into the playoffs. So I think the defense did turn around to a certain extent. So I'm interested to see if another year under Caldwell. Wasn't super happy with Caldwell, but maybe another year we'll see some positivity. Trayvon Walker will have another year under his belt.
Greg Lloyd.
I would like to see them try to
Devin
restructure
Lloyd. I said Greg, sorry.
Josh Allen. I mean, he can play on the 5th year, or just do the 5th year option on him this year. Have him play and then try to restructure him next year, or see where he's at, that sort of thing. It is interesting too because going into this year, it was before the draft. It was pretty clear we were going to draft either Trayvon or Aiden Hutchinson. And Aiden Hutchinson had 9.5 sacks this year. Trayvon had 3.5, and Josh Allen had 7. So Aiden Hutchinson almost had as many sacks as our main 2 sack guys did combined. But so that sounds terrible, and it is terrible. So they need to get better in that. What's interesting, though, is that in regards to QB pressures, we were actually tied for second in the NFL. That with a QB pressure rate of tied for third. So we're very close to getting and affecting the and some of those would be affecting the quarterback, I'm pretty sure. We're just not quite getting the sack totals that we need. So maybe come next year we'll have something change. Like you said, I don't know what needs to change, but
so here's the deal, man. We don't have a sack of nada. We don't have that guy. Like Josh Allen is good. He's solid.
Right. Solid.
Not good. Not good. He's not going to change the game.
Yeah. Not very often.
Walker looks like he's going to be a good, solid player.
Yeah.
But he's not going to change the game. We don't have a game changer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And it may be one of those things where we end up having to go into the draft. It may just be one of those things where we're not going to go into this next offseason, with any new toys for this. I mean, we are having cap difficulties at this point, unless you want to go in with a rookie, which, I mean, are we going to get a great pass rusher where we draft? I don't know that that's the answer. I'd almost go into it thinking maybe, and I've said this before, I want to replace Brandon Scherf. Brandon Scherf is not good. He's got issues. And we need guards. you don't draft those in the first round, granted. So maybe the first round pick would be a corner. I could see us getting another
Most
corner just to
most
lock in, give our guys who are solid the additional half a second to get to the quarterback and affect the quarterback. Our linebackers are all new. One more year under the system. Not doing bonehead things, another, oftentimes causing the quarterback to hold the ball longer, getting the sack. So I could see the existing pieces working to get more sacks possibly. And that's I guess that's where I'm looking at it right now. I would like to re-sign Jawan Taylor. If we can. If he's unreasonable, then he can go. And we'll put but my hope is that we'll be able to get players who want to sign reasonable deals here, because we look to be a place where you have an opportunity to succeed, and it's a fun environment apparently there to play for Peterson. Everybody there gets along really well. So, I mean, I think there isn't any reason to assume going into this will be a fun off season, because it'll be so different than what we are used to. We won't be looking at the draft to try to fill any hole. I mean, think about what I just said. We're looking into the draft to fill slot corner, which is like, oh, that's amazing. Stuff like that. Like, we are the type of team where we're looking at drafting role players and backups in the hope that they become something, which is all I've ever wanted from this team. And we have an opportunity, I think, to improve, and we're pretty close to the teams that we saw. I don't how close, close enough, to at least give us a shot. And that's what you want. That's what you want in this league. As long as the refs, you have to be good enough to play Mahomes and the refs, obviously. So we do need to improve a good amount, apparently. But that aside, all things being equal, we have as much shot as anyone else next year, or not as anyone else, but most teams.
We should at least be in the conversation.
We should be in the conversation.
We have now. Granted, remember after 2017, people were putting us in the conversation,
I know.
2018 was awful.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
That wasn't Doug Peterson, wasn't Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, man. It's time to move on. It's time to move on, Mike.
I know. Different era. Well, I have a hard time
carry the past
letting go.
with you. Let it go. Just put it down. It'll be all right.
It's hard. It's hard to let that pain go, man. It is hard. It's not an easy thing to do. I might need counseling.
Yeah.
Are there football counselors? I think I need a football counselor to talk to.
You may need a counselor if you're asking about football. That's my expert advice.
Well,
but it's called Fanatic for a reason.
Well,
so.
yeah, because this is just bringing up pain. I thought this would be therapeutic.
Speaking of pain, I hope this episode wasn't too painful. Not sure who stuck around for it. I know Mike's internet connection's pretty painful right now, but I'm sure our diehards have stuck around and listened to us expound.
Banter. So here's what we need. We need everybody to go to the NFL and tweet at NFL Trevor Lawrence, the princess. That's what we need. We need him to become the darling.
Yeah, we need the bogus calls on our side, dang it. For once.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Someone's going to get it. Why not us?
That's what I'm screaming.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Drop us a comment, share, like.
It helps the algorithm, they say. Like, thumbs up, help the
algorithm. We love
algorithm.
all 7 of you. Yes.
All right. Next time. See you then.